Beyblade. Let me tell you something about Beyblade. It's my favorite, let's just say, top 10 anime of all time. Because I grew up with Beyblade. Especially the first of the first. The granddaddy of Beyblade. Which is here. And then we're from G-Force. Or not G-Force. V-Force. And then G Revolution. And let me tell you, those two V4, well, mostly it was G Revolution was my favorite one, and I gotta admit it was. So, well, mostly V-Force was up there too with Revolution too, but hey, then you got Metal Fusion, Metal Masters, and what was the other one? What was the other one? I'm trying to figure out what was Metal Fury. And then you got Shogun Steel, which let's be honest. So let me just say this. Original Beyblade was good. I would say that. It was good. I'm going to rank each series with tolerable destruction and the amount of terrorism, mind you. So let me just say the the original Beyblade was kind of up there with terror. Matter of fact, if you remember I think it was episode 20 or 29 or 30 of G Revolution, you have Tyson versus Kai, and the stadium. Mind you, this was in the finals. In the stadium, the boss, the GBBA, I think I got that right, has introduced a large, mind you, it was a large state ring. Basically telling both bladers, go all out, basically. That's basically what the old man said. Said, go all out. What was his name? Mr. Dickinson? I think that's what's his name, the old man's name. Hope I ain't butchering his name. But holy moly, he just said, go at it. And when they launched their Beyblades, shockwave starts going off. And it affected, the effect they had was massive. So I think to the point in this series, you get to, well, no, I can't say that because V-Force did have, in my opinion, when I first watched V-Force, and I watched it again, I probably rewatched V-Force pretty much 5 times. Love that series. Pretty much V-Force kinda, to me, how the blader gets damaged with their bit beast too, which is kind of wild. So, I mean, just look at Azuma and Tyson, for example, and Kai. Kai is another example. But it's crazy how the amount of battle damage they took too. Which, I gotta admit, if I had a bit beast like that, oh man, that would be out of this world. Now, skipping over from the original Beyblade, you get to the, how can I say this? When you in the Metal series, hopefully, you won't be that one bystander. Not that one bystander, but you won't be that little collateral damage off of Taco Titan or off of DBZ, that random explosion happens near you and you just automatically just die off bat. I'm just going to tell you that right off rip, because the amount of damage, the amount of power that in that series that you can use depending on which Beyblade you have. So for example, you have, what's that one? Koya with his Beyblade Leon. I gotta admit, that's major terrorism right there. Cause when Jenga went to confront Koya and confront him, bro, a second time when Koya came back talking about, oh, I want my payback. By the way, I want you down on the ground defeated. Also, let's take it up to a next level. I want to see you get hurt and humiliated to no point of any avail. That sounds about right. Kyo's type. Went for second encounter. By the way, if you seen that his Beyblade, the amount of training he does, the amount of hatred he has for Jenga, I gotta admit, of everybody in the first season, Koya has to be Kyo's #1 rival. But I can't say that. Well, when you get to Ryuga, the top G, the top dog, the #1 blader, powerful blader, matter of fact, #1 rival next to Koya, but contest-wise, we get to that fight sooner or later, but Koya, I gotta admit, well, not Koya, but Ryuga, I gotta admit, when the backstory kicked in, when he was telling Jenga, he said, oh, I met your daddy. I whooped your daddy's ass, and left him in the volcano to rot. So, to burn to death. So that's why I'm here. And he's trash. And what that tells you about his son. Trash too. So, well, you get the glimpse of when first Ryuga starts to tell Jenga, talking trash to Jenga. Jenga just looking at him, how dare you, right? There's this pure and utterly mad face, locked in anger. He said, oh, I'm about to, how dare you speak to about my father like that, my late father. But this is part of the thing I like about Ryuga's character. He gaslights his opponent, well, he insults his opponent, then gaslight him, and then makes him mad and bait him into making them angry and more frustrated, basically. And giving his Beyblade, his Bey, which is, let's just say, the most broken Bey out there, that with no competition, and he mastered and turned to a whole different being. Lightning El Drago, which I gotta admit, man, that is, I still think to this day that Bey had in mind his own. But Ryuga did master it though, after he was beaten first. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna put this out here. Jenga's a massive fraud in this series. A massive fraud, because why did they make Jenga so the type of character? I don't get why they make characters like these so powerful and thinking they can beat any opponent in one round without competition, right? As soon as they launch their Bey, they think, oh, you can't beat me. I'm the most powerful Beyblader in this town. Until someone shows up and tells you, oh, you ain't shit, and I'm taking that title. Fraud alert. Jenga is a fraud alert, by the way. So, man. By the way, first season opening was better than the second and third, Metal Fury and Metal Masters. And then the fight against Koya and Ryuga before Jenga, but the women just tell you something. If you want to have nuclear explosions go off in arena, if you want, so, oh god. So you remember when I say the G Revolution, the original Beyblade? You remember when I said one of the top people said, oh, here's a stadium, all in one, and if one of you falls, well, it's a cage match, basically. What do you think that episode was between Ryuga and Koya? That was the point where that was a balls out fight between Koya and Ryuga. Not even close, but I think Ryuga wasn't getting serious until, well, I think he gotten serious, but it's not like Koya rise beyond past that, and then his El Drago, Ryuga's El Drago took over him and be like, listen here, little boy, you're not going to beat us, and you will not ever beat us. So you're going to lose this match one way or another. So that's what happened. And then Koya got beaten by, technically it wasn't Ryuga, it was more El Drago that took that win. So I would have been pissed too. So man, Metal Masters took it up a notch with all the stuff that was going on, because you have, now that after the events of Ryuga, you have Metal Masters, which Jenga has to get a new Bey because his Storm Pegasus has been, let's just be honest, Jenga put that Bey to, well, he took that thing on a test run and did not stop using it, basically. So, and besides, he already mastered the Bey, so I think, let's be honest, he was in for a new upgrade Bey anyway. So Storm Pegasus retired, and now Jenga finally got a new Bey called Galaxy Pegasus. But do you know who else got a new Bey? It's his #1 rival, which is Ryuga. Went from Lightning El Drago to Meteor. I think it was Meteor El Drago. And this one doesn't emit lightning. This one emits flames, fire, inferno. And that's, I gotta admit, Dragon Emperor kind of fits with the whole fire theme because he mastered that bay to the point that he went off somewhere to train, and it shows you how he obtained the bay actually, because he was in a volcano, hardcore. You won't see no blader do that besides Ryuga going into a wild natural disaster, since that's what I'm gonna say. You won't see one blader besides Ryuga going to hardcore training to master their bay, talking about, yeah, check out this power I got. Where did he get all this power? Well, no shit. Where you think he got all this power from? He got it from traveling around the world. Basically going into volcanoes, going to tropical storms, tsunamis. I won't be mad if he got to the level where, mind you, they did show Moses splitting the earth. It's not splitting the earth, but splitting the sea in half with that Beyblade, which is right here. So that's kind of something too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ryuga actually did that, split the whole sea apart. No, that make you wonder too about his flames too, on top of that. But I think he has enough power to do that. But besides, shit, all he needs to do is throw his bay out and going on from there, right? Another thing too, see, you got that. And when Jenga and Ryuga started fighting each other, I gotta admit, Ryuga was testing Jenga. He was trying to test Jenga to see if he was a fraud or not. I was gonna say, congratulations, Jenga. It was Ryuga didn't let you off easy with that win. So during the not final match, but during when they are short a member, when the other team ambushed and rocked two of their characters, which, oh my goodness, why? For one thing, why do you have this kid right here? Not why you could have gotten Koya into the team, and you would have a busted team right there, Jenga. I would say that if you would have convinced Koya anymore, I think you would have. Or if you fought Koya, then there you go. Then you have a fight on your hands. Unfortunately, you didn't. So, also, matter of fact, there wasn't any other powerful people besides Ryuga being in the vicinity. Mind you, he was the only powerful. Matter of fact, if Ryuga would have joined Gang Galaxy, I think that's what they called Galaxy, and him, Jenga, you know how broken that team would have been broken. I mean broken. Ryuga would told Jenga to sit his ass down and let him take care of it all by himself. He would have said, quote by quote, I will win this by myself, literally, even if I had to do this alone. So he would have told the other teams, like, if you beat me, how about you have all your bladers battle me? If you beat me, we lose and you win. How confident do you think Ryuga's confidence in his base, in his bay, and his strong aptitude for El Drago is up through the roof. There won't be any point in Ryuga saying you're trash, basically. So unless there was someone in Metal Fury that can go up against him, which let's get to that, by the way. So Metal Fury hit the intro. So you got Metal Fury. Welcome to Metal Fury, where you got Galaxy Pegasus getting absorbed, or having absorbed the star fragments, which star fragments, I'm not even gonna explain it because it's hard, but it's basically a meteor that's been split into different star fragments, and now each Beyblade has a star fragment. Koya, Ryuga, Jenga, who else? I don't think, and several other people that I ain't gonna mention because they're irrelevant. Let's just say to this conversation. But you have not only Ryuga's Bay transforming to El Drago Destructor. I think in my opinion that's a badass name. And what did Jenga's call Storm? It went from Storm, Galaxy, and then was it Barrage Pegasus? Mirage? I don't know. I know Koya's Beyblade evolved from Storm Leon to something else. No, Rock Leon. There we go. Rock Leon. Can we get? Why did we leave my? Do you know what's the most slept on blader besides Kenta? It's Tsubasa. I feel like Tsubasa has been the most slept on character in the Metal series, mind you, because he's smart and he's calculating. No person have gotten close to countering Ryuga's Lightning El Drago than Tsubasa has. He's the first blader to actually do that, by the way. So put some respect on my man's name because he's calculating and he's calm and collected. What else? And he likes to analyze his opponents too, by the way. So I think he's quick-witted, quick on his feet too. That's another thing. He's smart. So why hasn't Tsubasa have a star fragment? Isn't that the most smart person doesn't have a star fragment? Even though his Bay is already strong, I think, in my opinion, he should have a star fragment. Besides Kenta. But, come on now. Tsubasa been there. He conquered his darker self that's been influenced by El Drago, right? So, why not have him have a star fragment? Earth Eagle, that could have his Bay. Tsubasa's Bay evolved from Storm Earth Eagle to something Eagle. I would admit, I would have to admit too. And he got a rematch between Ryuga and Tsubasa has a rematch, not between, but has a rematch with Ryuga. In my opinion, that would come. Ryuga might actually have some respect for Tsubasa because he's the only person that can counter his moves, right? And calculation, because he calculated everything in that match. So that's just my opinion. Just a little side off topic, but Metal Fury, I gotta admit, you have got to be kidding me. Jenga has lost again to Ryuga, a fraud. We got another fraud on our hands. Jenga, it's a shame to say this, but you lost too many times to Ryuga. You have lost too many to Ryuga. It is 1, 2. Jenga only won once against Ryuga, and that was it. But Ryuga beat Jenga before he went off screen somewhere. So, but it has. Let me wait until get to that point. But towards the ending, Ryuga versus what was his name? That God's Nemesis. You have El Drago Destructor versus Nemesis, Dark Nemesis. I think that's what it's called. It's called. Can you remember? And then you got Ryuga's, I would call him his manager by his side, surprising kicking. And then he ends up dying sometime during the match because the power that the two Beyblades blew his sorry ass off the damn cliff. And he dies that way. So, I gotta admit, Ryuga was cooking. Well, no. I would say this too. I know that's Ryuga's personality, but you have to admit, if Ryuga waited until the other bladers came to help him, he would have not been, his Bay wouldn't be destroyed and he wouldn't suffer so much damage. But I think Ryuga would have cooperated with Jenga and the others too if he got so beaten badly by Nemesis. Let's be honest. There's a future where Ryuga was still living and breathing, still has his El Drago basically. So but Ryuga ends up disappearing. So does El Drago basically. Destructor, which I gotta give it to Ryuga, the most powerful number one blader on this planet, in this world, that claimed dominion that claimed his territory. Meaning, he said it himself, but has implied that Ryuga is alive somewhere. Don't know where, but it's heavily implied. And then you get to Shogun Steel. And then Shogun Steel is basically what happened after the disaster of Metal Fury, which you have Samurai Pegasus, which is a new upgrade from Jenga's previous Bay. And then you get, I don't know, that's kind of strange. If Ryu was still alive, I think his Bay would be called not El Drago, Samurai El Drago. Ooh, that's a good one. Samurai El Drago, but I think it would have been called Shogun El Drago. Well, no, I don't know about that. Shoot. It has to be a badass name to fit that scenario. But it's called Shogun Steel, basically. But you have everybody grown up, basically grown to grown adults, and I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more fights to get for people from that show to get involved, but hey, it is what it is, right? Oh man, don't let me get into the Burst series. We all know about the Beyblade Burst series. I think the main character, Volt, took too many damn L's. Well, let's be honest. Hey, but let me tell you something. They have some fire ass intros. I'm not gonna lie. Outros, but it's more the intros. They have some fire ass intros, bro. Top 3 favorites is Turbo, Rise, and Sparking. Turbo, Rise, and Sparking are my 3 favorites. Burst intros, basically. Beyblade Burst. There you go. Hey, that's my favorite. Burst is now one of my top series, Beyblade series. I don't particularly like Beyblade X for certain reasons because I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. We'll be honest with you. They made the main character lose more losses than Volt, and that's saying something. So I don't like the series. If they went back to like the old, like the Bit Beast, I like the concept of Bit Beast and and also the concept of what they did with the Metal series too. But it's more with the Bit Beast of how that, the original Beyblade, of how the concept of Bit Beast and how that came forward. I really like that. And let's just say it's refreshing, basically, because that's the main reason I got introduced, and it was a good ass story writing. So, but if you like this video, hopefully you like it because it's about Beyblade, and if you're a fan, well, there you go. Like this video, subscribe, and comment down below which series of Beyblade do you like. Do you like the OG Beyblade, the original, the Metal series, Burst, or do you like the newest one, X, Beyblade X, which I don't like, guys. I'll tell you outright, I don't like it. But see you again, and see you next adventure. Laters.